Everyone. So welcome back. I'm Dr. Abbas Malik and I'm your instructor for the web development course. In the last lecture, we see how we can set up a project where we are going to develop the applications starting from the backend databases as well as the front end. So, and then we see that how we can implement that index.html file, which can send an HTTP request to the server and then get back all the records from a student's table and then display those informations inside the web page. So you can see that. So now we will just start how we can insert a new record inside it, but before that, let's move on with the slides first. So we have implemented different type of request in the last lecture. We will see today as well, and we will try to modify according to our requirements. And then we also has implemented different type of the requests. Okay, that's all good. Then we have implemented the HTML file, which is the index.html file, which show us the tabular form, the student's data. And then we can send the fetch using the fetch method. We can send a request to the server send back a response, and then we can read the information's response body out of that response, and then we can display those information inside the uh, web page to our client or to the server to. And then of course for all those more link we are actually using the bootstrap styling. This is again overview of how we can start. First of all, we need to install the dependencies. Then we start our script to run the project. Then we need to make sure that before that we can also the server is also running, and then run the application and then open the browser and then see the results out of it. These are some what you can say that the common errors. If you cannot find that specific, you need to make sure that you are giving the right URL, you are implementing the right body. If the body is undefined, then we need to make sure that we are using the middleware or the hooks that express.json. If we are not using them, then definitely will create some match. So these are some errors that are there that you can could face, and then these are the possible solutions that you can need to consider to solve those problems. Then we also have some best practices for the databases, the API best practices, and then the project. So if you look at the database best practices, always use parameterized queries rather than implementing the queries writing that's in the string format for the so that it will help us to avoid the SQL injection attack that could happen using the when we are only using the QoS in the strings. Use connection pools to increase the performance. Name tables and the columns consistently. Add create a timestamp to track the record. So this is not there right now for our system, but yeah, we can do that. So this is very important, especially for the tracking the things and the thing. Then we also have the best practices for the API. Again, use the you can set the status of the code 81, 201 okay, 201 created, 404 not created, F system errors, and so on. So we are trying to identify the what are the different reasoning for that one. Then we also have the separate of the concerns for the best practices for the front end. HTML structure is separate, CSS styling, JavaScript behavior. So all these are the best practices, and you can store sensitive information in the .env file. We don't only use our the passwords or the sensitive information we save in that, and then we don't upload those informations to the what you can say that to our to that what you can say that in GitHub, so that we can protect our sensitive information. So these are some best practices, and this is the how we can start building. So we have already started that one. So we created a folder for our in our case it was a week 10 class code, and then we also created a public. We copy the server code from our previous week 9 lecture code, and then we also created the public HTML where we have created all these index.html, insert record, view record, and delete record informations, and then we can have implemented that part. So where we are going to show the informations out of it. This is a search bar where we can type something and then we can filter the data which is being shown. These are the statistics about that data that is being shown, and these are the some example code and the what you can say that it is an sample code and the sample uh, scripts that which we have written down in the index.html file. Okay, so far. So that up to this point we have completed our project, so let's start with the next part. And this is also we have done, we use the static, so public HTML is being delivered to the client from the server, and then it automatically load the index.html file, and then that is going to happen here. So the next one is the insert record. So we will look at how we are going to insert the record inside it. Okay, and then this is what we want to create it here. Of course, this is a form or the input fields which are required to get the data from the server, from the student, from the what you can say from our clients or from our users, and then we can add our new record. Okay, so let's start with that and then see what we can do. Okay. So first of all, for the insert record, what I need to do, we need to add some design to our HTML file. Okay, and we have already done our insert record. So if you look at that, we already have uh, our uh, navigation bar. So under the navigation bar, let me copy the things and then show you what we are doing here. Okay, so let me copy that part here, and then I will explain you what does it mean. So first of all, we are creating, if we just try to open up our, uh, this is not this one, I need to open my, yeah, so we will insert record. So now you can see that we already have that form. We have a drop down for the selecting the gender, then we can also enter the informations. Of course it will not be accept, and then we have information and CS and so computer science. So let me come back to the here as well. So we, first of all, this is the main div. Then we are showing that title for the add a new students. Then we are still some filling instructions. These instructions has been given. Please fill in the information which are required. Of course, they are all required, to be honest. And then we can say that so we have a ID, that is student form, and then we have a row, and then inside the full name, then we have a input field which is going to be used to get the name of the student, and this is an example that is given here. Then we have this what you can say that we also have this label for the gender, and this gender is actually a drop down menu where we have male and female options. And then we also have the semester. Semester is something which we need to have, say that it is something which is between the 1 and 8. It cannot go less than 0, or I mean it cannot less than 1, it cannot be more than 9 8. And then we also have this one. This is again a drop down menu where we need to select the department, which department you are, which what is a major, computer science, information, or the software engineering. And then we have a reset button, then we have a fill sample data button, and then we also have the add student button. So when you say add student button, actually we are calling the submit method. And then if you look at our form, it is actually using, where is the form? Let me see, form ID. Okay, so we are actually using the submit form, and then in the submit form, we are going to execute the, we say we have a submit, and then we are going to use it. So we can also say, for example, on click, we are the reset form, we on click, we are filling the sample data. So we can do so first of all, let me what you can say that add event listener. So whenever there is an event listener, we are trying to um, say that submit is equal to add submit. So first of all, what I need to do here, I need to come down here, create a new script tag, and inside I am writing down if what you can say document.event listener. and then close it. Okay. So what we are doing here, so we have this form, student form, and then whenever we are submitting, we are executing the call from function, which is the add method, which we need to define here. So first of all, let me create that function here, add method, the add student. Okay. And then this function, okay. So we have this add student function. What is happening here? So let me do that. Yep, that's the reason. So we have this function, and then we want to, and again, as you know, that we want to use the async method. And then when we async method, we can say that we want to, first of all, I say event, it is going to take that event as well. Event, what event had that has happened over here. And then that event is going to be called, so we say dot event dot prevent default. So what does it mean? So, whenever we are submitting, it automatically refresh that page. That is the default behavior whenever we are submitting a form. So to avoid that thing, we say event prevent that default event. So we don't want to do that. Okay, number one thing. So now first of all, what I need to collect the data out of those forms informations. So if we look at that, we have these input fields here. So we have this form, and then inside the form, we have this full name, and then we have this full name input field. And then if you look at that, we have the name. And then we also have that another input field, which is a select, which also has the ID value gender, and then it will give me the gender information. And then we have the input field, which is the placeholder to get the semester. Then we also have the input field for, so I need to collect the data from these input fields and into our store record. So we can say that uh, so student record or student data, let me make it data, and then we can say that we are going to create a object here. We say name, and then we say document dot get element by ID, and then here I have the name ID value and dot value and dot string. So actually it's a string. So if there's a empty spaces after or before that one, it is going to remove that part. Then we have the gender, and then again we are going to get the informations out of it. I will just use the, because it is the gender value. So here I will just change to the gender, and then I will just try to put that one here again. And then we have semester, and then we have this one again, the semester value, and let me put that one again, copy that, and then we have the major, and then of course we are going to have the major value. So here we get all the informations, name, gender, semester, and the major out of those input fields. And once we have that one, then we can say that if not students data dot name, okay, then we want to display an alert message to our user. So let me write down a method which show the alert method. Okay, so first of all, let me have this method here right on top of it. So actually, what is the message and what is the type of that one? And then it will show me an alert message inside my page. So I will just simply say that here, that whenever there's a, so we say show alert message, and then we can say that please enter student name. Okay, and then we can say that this is a warning message. Okay, and warning type message, and then we say return. So we are going to return. If the name is not given, we have to ask the user that please give me the name. And let me check again for these things and copy this part here as well. And then here I check that if the name student.semester, I mean student data.semester is less than 1, or the student data is greater than 8. In that case, what we want to, again, this is a warning message, and then we can say that semester must be between 1 and 8. Okay, this is another thing, and again we can just stop that thing. And then what we want to do here, so we can we need to show some responses. So we say we have a response, get the response from the server. Response is equal to await, and then we can say fetch, we want to fetch the data, and then here we say slash data slash student. Okay, and then slash data slash student is the, if we come back to, because we want to send the post request. So number one thing, if we come back here, we have this slash data slash student, and then of course we need to send the informations inside the body as well. So first of all, let me after this one, in the fetch method, the second parameter, which is an optional one, it is array. So we say the method is post. First of all, we are telling that we are going to use the post method to send the request. Then we say that we have a headers, and then we, again, header is also a content dash type, and then this content dash type is equal to application slash JSON. And the last thing that I need to send is the body, and then we say JSON dot stringify. We want to convert that JavaScript object into a string format, and then we say student data is going to come in as a. So we have created this specific fetch request. The first part is the URL on which we want to send the request. The second part, or the second argument, which is optional, if we don't provide that, then it will by default send the get request. So we are specifying the method is post, headers is equal to the content type is equal to that, and then we also putting the data that we have read from our students info from the input fields into the body. So once we get back the response, again the same thing we need to do. We need to say constant. We say uh, result, and that will result is equal to again await, and then we can say that we response dot json. Okay, so we are going to get the response out of it, and then we can select this thing. Now the point is that what we are sending from here, so inside the server, if you look at that, when we are sending the post request, we are sending either the some text, some tags. That is not a good practice. Here we can send some response which is more appropriate to understand that we, the operation has been done successfully or not. So rather than doing this thing, I will say response dot send, and then here I will just say that success true. If that, because this one has been done, success is equal to true. Okay, and then here again I will just do that, and then we need to adjust our response. Response dot send, we want to send something, and then again because if you look at that, it's not unsuccessful, so we can success is equal to false. Okay, success column box. Okay, and the other thing is, I mean, if you want to stop your server, this is again what will happen here. If I uh, as a, I mean, we are getting the message here. Normally what we do here, rather than putting that message in the console, we have a separate file where are logging all those error messages inside, so later on we can look at that file. And then so here again we can send some response rather than throwing the file. I will say that we send back some response. So we say response dot send, and we want to send again success colon false. So we are sending that success is equal to false. Okay. So now, based on that, if it is a success is equal to false or true, we can handle that response accordingly. So rather than we are here, we say that if we have in the result, if not in the response, in the result, we have the success, not student data, uh, success, it means that we have successfully, I mean, if that value is true, it means that we have successfully inserted the record. Once we have successfully inserted the record, what we want to do, we want to reset our form. So let me rewrite a function that is reset form, and then here it is. So actually we are getting all the student form and reset, and then we have gender to male, major to CSS, and preview chord space styled or display is equal to none. So preview chord is more like, and the it will show me the information which has been inserted. So we were changing it, but once we have success, we want to show some informations out of it. First of all, I want to what you can say that uh, reset the form. Okay, so we have called that function. And then the other thing is that we want to show that we want to show a message. Okay, and then we can say that constant and then add another is equal to confirm. So when you say confirm, I want to show a message. For example, I will say student added successfully. Okay, and then we say /n/n, and then I say click OK to add another student, or we can say that or cancel to view all students. Okay, so when we say cancel, so actually this is more like it will show a pop-up message to the client, that to this user, that it has been added successfully. And if you want to add one more, then click OK. We will keep that student inside the same page. Otherwise, we are going to move that students from that current page, which is the insert record. We will move it to the index.html page. Okay, so first of all, we will say that if not add another, I mean, the user said no, I don't want to add, don't add other. Then we say window dot location dot href, and then we can simply say that we want to href is equal to index.html. So we are going to move the user from the current page to the index page. Okay, in the else part, what we are going to do, we are going to uh, there's no actually else part here, so we will just move that one. And then if the result is successful, we are saying that one. In the else part for the unsuccessful, so what we are going to do, we are going to send that message result dot message. So we want to show an error message here. Okay, so do we have a message here? So we are going to, in case of the false, we are also adding another message. What you can say that db error. Okay, this is another thing that we are going to display here. Let me keep this thing here as well. Into the in case of the false, I mean, in case of the failure, we are also sending a message back to the server that we are not unable to do that, and then give some reasons why we are unable to do that. To not add the data in the server. Okay, so we are sending a message back. So in that case, what we are showing that when if there's a failure, I want to throw a new error, and then we say result dot message. So actually what it will do, it will in the console, look, in the server side, the console is this what in this command prompt is actually a console, but on the client side the console is this. I mean, we are going to do that, so we go to the dev tools, and then here we have the console. It will throw that message and print that message here, so we can see those errors here. But right now, I mean, we don't need to worry about that. So it is so it will throw that information over there with the appropriate message which is coming from the server. So that is one thing that we need to do. So we can send that request, okay, add a student, and then we can collect the data from the input fields, check that if the data has been given appropriately by the user, and then once it is done, we are going to send that request to the server. Server is sending back a response. We are reading the response body out of it using the JSON, and then you checking that if the result dot success, then we are saying that what we want to do, and then if there is an error, then we are throw that an error message over there. So that is all. So let me see if I can. So it is an unquote and in the main. Okay, don't worry about that. So let me quickly check if I can add the. So for example, if I say Abbas and Malik, and then mail section of semester 6, SC department, and add a student. So now you can successfully added. If you click OK, it will remain on this page. When I say cancel, it will move it automatically to me to the new page. And as you can see that it at the end, the 33rd student, which has been added according to what I have sent. Okay. So now we have successfully implemented the insert record. So let's go back to this slide and see what, so we can implement that thing. We have written down that uh, loading. I mean, we can do that, but I didn't do actually. Don't make it. But in the sample code, what we are doing here, when show alert. So this is what we have already done here. Where we are sending that message. So what we are going to do that. So show some alert messages. For example, if I just come back here and then insert, and then just try to, for example, I try to add things. So you can say fill out the data. For example, this one, and then mail, and then here I say 10, and then computer science. When I do that, so it must be. So actually, if I don't give the information, then press on that one, it will show me that message. So that is actually that show alert, showing the show alert thing, and that will tell me that what we need to do. Show loading means that rather than whenever I press, and it will, because we are sending an HTTP request, server is sending back a response, so it may take some time. So it will show some loading things. So it will show me a circular spinner thing, which is show me that we are processing your request. So that is another thing. I have not implemented in the current request, but if I what I will do, I will add these informations inside the sample code, and then you can see. But let me quickly do that if we wanted to do that. Let's see. So what I need to do here, um, show loading. Let me quickly copy that function here as well. So show loading here, and then because I just need to do one more thing, just like we have a reset method, or what we can, the show alert method, we can just copy this thing here, and then whenever we are start making that request, this one. So when we start making that request, we say that we want to show the show that loading true. Okay, so we say show loading, and then we say true, and we save it. And then once we have successfully uh, uh, do that, then rather than we will stop that loading part as well. Okay, so after that, once we have completed all these things, then at the end, once we have finished our fetch request and everything, then we can copy this thing, and then here right at the end we can say show loading is equal to false. So in this way, it will show if it takes a longer time, the server response, then it will show me processing part, and then once that processing gets finished, it will stop that showing me that message every day. So that is the thing that we can do that. The other thing that has been implemented here in the function is the event loader. We already do that. And then we have add student. This is a function that we have just created, and this is a reset form. We have a fill sample data. We also have the fill preview, show preview. So we can, what you can say that implement these things here. So let me have a sample data as well. So sample data. So let me put it over here. So actually what we are doing, when we do this part, uh, fill the sample data. Right now it is does not anything because we have to refresh. When I do that, still it is fill sample data. Okay, and then we also have a show preview. When you say show preview, is this one, and then I also have another thing which is this. Uh, Okay, so escape data. So that is being used. And then once we have show preview, where we are going to use it automatically. Actually, so let me, so as soon as we have finished our, uh, we are sending the form, prevent default, and then we get the data out of it, then we show something, then show loading is equal to true, and then we are getting the responses back, and then windows dot so actually what we need to do here, we also need to say that add a real-time preview thing inside our event loader, where we are specifying the event. So here, document dot, and then we also show something like this. So we have a name JSON field. So once I do that, and now if I refresh my page, right now there's nothing here. But if I start giving, for example, I fill the sample data, now it is showing me that preview as well. Okay, so it will fill that sample data, and then I can just simply maybe making some changes here, 5, and add a student. Do you want to stay on that same page? And now you can see that it is also show me that loading part. When I do that, it will remain on the same page, but and I go back here, it will show me the new student has been added. So this is what you can say that we have implemented that part. So let's what you can say that stop that video. So first we see all the data. We completed the index.html. Now we have completed the insert-record.html, all the functionality. Let me go through the again. We design that specific page according to our requirement or the style. Then we have implemented some event loader. Whenever their document has been loaded, it will access the form element from our HTML page, and then say whenever we are submitting that form, it always execute the add student function. So that add function we have written down, and this is where we are going to see the preview that has been shown here. Right here, if I just insert a new record, sample data. So as soon as we fill the data, it is showing me that. So if I say reset the form, and then I say, for example, and the information system. So now you can see that as long as we fill all the information, it show me the preview, and that preview will help us to understand what sample data, what data we are actually inserting. We are also looking at in the input field, but it also give me the preview as well. And then we also have reset form, and then we can go there. So this is what we have implemented so far. And then we have the show the alert message. Whenever there is a problem, then it will show me that alert message. Then we also have showing the what you can show loading part. It will show me that spinner, and then we also have the add student function, which is actually going to be implement the add thing. And then we have a reset function, which is reset that form for us, and this is a sample data, which is, of course, you can increase more informations here, but I have written down some few of them here, and then accordingly it will insert the sample data show preview part. So in this way, it is actually show that preview thing. And then we also have the escape HTML. Escape HTML is actually trying to uh, avoid that scripting thing from the user inputs. So that's why we are, rather than directly showing the string, we are showing escape and the name, and then it will do. So that is another thing that we have implemented from the slow depot perspective of our web application. So that is all for this insert part, and then wait for the other two things, that where we are going to view and edit a record, and as well as the delete record. So thank you very much.